Hello, my dear parents and students. I was watching an interview by the Secretary CBSE, Mr. Anurag Tripathi. This is about the CBSE exams, when the schools are going to open, post Corona, what should be the approach. Lot of parents were telephoning him online, and he was also explaining. Students were telephoning. Some of the questions were relating to online education, online teaching and education. That prompted me to make this video. I'm an educationist. I'm heading a school, Sri Aram Jain Vidyashram, where about 3,500 children study. I'm aware of the sudden change in the learning environment. Our children are used to classroom teaching, but today there is no access to school. Social distancing, yes, it is required. Life is more important than education. So we should abide by the government restrictions. But at the same time, the issue in front of parents, how are we going to continue the education? It's not a week or 10 days time, it's more than 35 days today. And the end is not in sight. According to me, I feel even June, whether the schools will reopen, even July, the schools will reopen, I have my own doubt. The reason is schools cannot practice social distancing. In a bench, 3-4 students should sit. And all the schools may not have a very spacious rooms and infrastructure to practice social distancing. And the children by nature will play, touching each other. And we do not know where the child is coming from, whether it is a red district or a hot district or a hot area. We do not know. The government has to think about their safety first and then only open the schools. But in the meantime, every school is after some online teaching or other. A lot of companies, service providers have a product offer for online teaching. They promise online teaching. But the most important question is online learning. Teaching is different, learning is different. In this episode, I'm going to discuss a couple of issues involved in the online learning. Online teaching is fine. I can teach in front of a camera, send it to my students. My work is over, but learning is very, very important. I listed certain basic infrastructure required in order that the teaching reaches the student. We'll have to check whether these infrastructures are required. Just like in a classroom, you need a board, whether it is a blackboard or a green board or a smart board. You need benches, you need desks. In a lab, you need various equipments. Similarly, in the house, for the learning, online learning to take place, first of all, you need to have a laptop or a PC. Smartphone has its own limitation. It's a small screen. And there are many facilities available in a laptop which a smartphone may not be able to offer. And also a smartphone may belong to the father or mother. Normally, schools and parents and many of us are against the children having their own smartphone. So all these years. So normally in at least 7 out of 10 families, they'll be using the father's mobile or mother's mobile. Let us say for 4 hours, if the child is hooked to the smartphone online teaching and learning, What about the telephone calls the father or mother may get, or some relatives may telephone? So the ideal thing is to have a laptop or a PC. The question is, how many houses will have this? I know some of the families where the children use the father's or mother's laptop, but they're also working from home. So the availability of a laptop or a PC for the child is a question mark. The second one is a good broadband connection with internet. My experience tells me that in many places the internet speed is not adequate. I'm taking class legal studies for my students. It's a small group of students. Not all of them have this facility. They are not able to communicate. Even on the television, you will see in the news hour, the anchor person is inviting somebody to speak from a distance, and even that is not very clear because of signal problem. So this is another problem. The third one, the student should have a earphone. This is possible because there'll be a lot of noise in the house, unlike in a classroom, and the children should focus what's happening in the online teaching. The fourth one, the child should have a study place, ideally a table with bookshelf, pad and pencil. The child should have access to a laptop, ideally laptop or a PC with a good internet, and a bench or a table and chair. That is the study area. How many houses could have it? I'm not talking about the affordable families. I know there are a lot of houses where the house size itself is very, very small. In metropolitan cities, all families may not be able to have a separate place for studies for the children. Why do we send our children to the school? There will be no disturbance. A similar setup is required for an online learning environment. The fifth one is parental support and cooperation. The parent should understand that the child is learning online, and so he has to spare his mobile, he has to spare his laptop, maybe he has to spend money for the internet time or the talk time, he has to recharge his smartphone if he is on a prepaid account, and he should allow a separate place. So the fifth requirement is parental support. The sixth one is the home environment. A classroom should have an environment, no? There should be no disturbance. The home environment should be like what is available in the classroom in a school. Because of lockdown, the members of the family will be hooked to television, wanting to know what's happening on the television news. Or there could be entertainment, serials, cinemas. As I mentioned, I'm not talking about the affordable families where the child will have its own study room. Most of the houses, the television is on the hall. In a corner, the child may be studying. And what do we do during the lockdown days? We cannot go out anywhere. So the only entertainment is the television. So let's say that a school gives this timetable morning 9 to evening 3:30. Like in a school, every 40 minutes a new teacher will come and she will take class. On paper, it looks beautiful. At the implementation level, is it feasible? Will the home environment allow this to happen? And last but not the least, that the learning online should be student driven, not school driven. The student should understand, the parent should understand the importance of online education, the difficulties associated with online education, and they should be prepared to cooperate, adjust to the new technology of learning. I'm going to discuss about it toward the end also. So you need these 7 factors for the online teaching to be converted into online learning. I come across a lot of news item that this school has implemented, that school has implemented, this teacher, he's teaching online, looks fine. I'm not pessimistic, but I'm only explaining the real situation. I'm living in a place which is about 40 kilometers from Chennai. I'm experiencing all this. The reason is that we are new to this. We are caught unawares. Today, the scientists say that even after the corona is removed from the world, we are able to send it out. Even after the normalcy, it is likely to recur every year, like eye conjunctivity or a dengue fever. Maybe once bitten, twice shy. We'll be more careful. So we will be prepared. We'll be in a state of preparedness. Like a tsunami hit unawares. This corona has hit us. It has caught us napping. Nobody expected this much of a lockdown of 35 plus, I don't know how many days more. So maybe next time we'll be more organized having all this. So these are the things required in a house for the online teaching to be transformed into online learning. Yes, all these companies, very good companies, they give a good platform. They come and demonstrate, online demonstration for every school, how you can conduct the classes online. Yes, you can conduct the class online, but how are we going to convert the teaching into learning? That is the issue I'm now discussing. So roadblocks for online learning. Now I'm going to discuss 3 partners to this teaching learning environment. Teachers, for example. Problem number 1 of the teachers. Teachers are not trained for online teaching. They were used to classroom teaching. Online teaching is available for preparation like IIT, preparation like IAS, competitive exams. That's after the graduation when the children are very, very mature and responsible. So the teachers may not know how to prepare a lesson plan for online, the type of template they should prepare, how to deliver, how to share a page, how to join a meeting, how to invite the students for a meeting. The learning curve will have its own time. So that is problem number 1. Problem number 2 for teachers is the same I discussed with the in a house environment, access to a laptop. How many teachers will have a laptop in their house? How many teachers will have a PC in their house? My gut feeling tells me not more than 20%. Problem number 3 of teachers is the number of students. You try hooking what 30, 40 students in online teaching, then you will understand. A small little screen and all the students should be seen. Well, there are certain softwares which say you need not see the students, but as a teacher, I'm comfortable with the eye contact with the students. Maybe about 8 or 10 or 15 students you can manage. You can have 2 PCs with one PDF next to you. You can share all that, but 30, 40 students. And whether all the 30, 40 students will have this infrastructure I mentioned to you is a big question mark. And one more problem of the teachers is the mindset of students, whether the students will have the mindset to focus and concentrate. These are the issues teachers will face. As far as the parents are concerned, the number one issue for the parents is this online teaching, online learning is new even for them. They're all used to sending their children to the school and receiving them back. So giving them the requisite infrastructure in the house is itself new to many parents. I mentioned to you already a separate study place and all that. How many parents can really afford it is a big question mark. As far as students are concerned, the same I mentioned to you, accessibility to the minimum gadgets required, lack of seriousness and responsibility on the part of the students. As I mentioned to you earlier, the online teaching learning should be student driven, parent driven, supported by the school. It cannot be school driven, forcing all the children to join online and saying at the end of 40 minutes, I'll give you a test in the next 40 minutes. It cannot happen. Also, the non-availability of a study place for the children. So, the teachers, the parents, and the students have their own roadblocks. Before I end this, I want to give a story which I heard some time back. There was a country and there was a king. And the king had a crown prince, 6, 7 years old. One day the king goes to the crown prince's room early morning. The crown prince was awake, highly disturbed. The king asked, "What the problem?" The crown prince says, "Dad, I didn't sleep throughout last night." Then what happened? Well, there is a mouse running here and there, I'm afraid. So I was scared. I didn't sleep at all. So the king summoned the minister and says, "I believe there is a mouse here. Trap it and send it out." The minister says, "No problem, king. We have a cat in the palace. I'll get the palace. Few minutes, the cat will finish off the mouse." So the cat was brought and let into the room. The cat started chasing the mouse, but the mouse gave it a good run. And after half an hour, the cat became very tired, gave up. The minister said to the king, "There's something wrong. I think there is something beyond the mouse. I think our enemy country should have sent this a different type of a creature. So we'll have to summon the cat from our nearby friendly countries. In that country, there is a variety of a cat which is very, very powerful." So that cat was brought in, let into the room. That cat tried and tried. Still, the mouse could not be caught. This cat also became very tired and gave up. Then the king and the ministers got together. They understood there's some plot by somebody. So they decided to go to the best of all the cats in the world. And one such cat was brought in for the same mission, catch the mouse. This cat ran and ran. Again, the same story. After half an hour, the mouse outsmarted the cat, and this cat also became very tired. All this was being seen by a sepoy, a watchman, a very sincere watchman who served the king for long years. He came and asked the king, "What's going on here? I find lot of cats coming and going." And the minister says, "You don't know." And he tells what's the problem. And the watchman says, "Minister, if you allow me, I have a cat in my house and I will try with my cat." The minister and the king break into a laughter. All our cats could not do. Even the best cat in the world cannot do it. And how can your cat do it? The watchman says, give me a chance. Okay, go get. So he goes to the house, and a small little puny cat is brought in. He lets the cat inside the room. Within a few minutes, it catches the mouse, finishes it. The minister is surprised. The king is surprised. They ask, how is that you are able to do it? What is this special variety of this cat? And the watchman says, no, it's a normal cat. The only difference is my cat is hungry. There is no food in my house. The only cow I had stopped giving milk for the past few days. And this cat is very hungry. And so a hungry cat had no alternative but to find its food. Why am I telling this story? The student should be hungry to learn. The student should feel restless to learn. They should appreciate the role of a teacher. Now they will understand. Now they will appreciate. All these days in a classroom and the teacher was available, they took them for granted. Today, when the teacher is not there in the classroom, they understand the value of a teacher, the value of a school. That's what I said, that the mindset is very, very important. While the corona warriors are fighting the corona, the teachers are fighting another battle. How am I going to reach out to my students? So let us think about all these things. Let us not take it for granted that just because we have a software and a good meeting platform, a good online facility or a software available, the teaching will be converted into learning. These requirements, these parameters, these points have to be kept in mind. Only then the online teaching will become an online learning. These are the roadblocks to online learning. Think about it.
SRMJV is not just a school, it's a one-time experience.
VM Nagar, Tiruvallur.